A sale is not a sale until the buyer says so. It is the buyer's decision on which the selling process hinges. We at PitchLink believe that a buyer-centric value transaction platform is the only solution in a world where the buyer is increasingly well-informed, empowered, and taking charge of the process. Cold calls and mails have lower impact today. Buyers come to the market with 70 to 80% of research already done. In the era of information, the shift is already visible, with the rise of inbound marketing and low engagement with traditional selling methods. PitchLink is a buyer-seller engagement platform built to share value propositions. It enables continued engagement, removing friction until closure of a deal. The seller constructs a personalized sales pitch using audio, video, marketing and sales collaterals, and other relevant information. The pitch is self-contained. Once the buyer receives it, they simply click a link to view it, without having to download any file. The elements of the pitch are presented as a linear pitch flow. The seller is able to present the pitch with added context by inserting recordings of his own voice as audio or video. This makes it as real and personalized as a face-to-face meeting. The buyer simply watches, listens, or reads each element of the pitch if it is of interest. If the pitch is not of interest to the prospective buyer, they can notify their disinterest and disengage. They can also inform the seller to contact later if it seems that it might be of value later. Single-click responses in PitchLink make it easy to give feedback without the social awkwardness of having to personally refuse or disengage from a deal. PitchLink promotes ethical analytics, which gives the buyer the choice to disclose engagement data or not. The buyer can choose to share engagement data with the seller. This helps the seller to refine their communication, but the buyer is at full liberty to not share any engagement data with the seller or revoke access at any time. This gives the buyer control and complete privacy. PitchLink is buyer-centric and gives total control to the buyer. Once the buyer receives the pitch, they can share it internally within the organization, bringing all stakeholders on the same page. Team members receive a mail with a similar personalized link. Other team members may choose to join in, or they can decline if they do not wish to engage. All stakeholders within the organization can now view the pitch and engage in internal discussion on the platform. Discussions can be as granular as on a particular element of the pitch, or at a higher level of the proposition as a whole. PitchLink not only provides for discussion and engagement, it especially empowers the buyer organization to have their own discussions, separate and segregated from discussions with the vendor. The buyer organization engages with the seller only when necessary. When the seller needs to be engaged, the buyer posts a query to the seller in the seller's discussion room. Or one can directly post a question from the internal discussion to the seller with a single click. All posts are shared through mail notifications. The seller can answer the queries posted by the buyer. Supporting documents can be viewed and discussed as well. The Supporting Documents button opens the Documents folder. Documents under each folder can be viewed. The buyer organization stakeholders can leave notes and comments for other team members. They can reply, and the discussion can continue. If a team member is away, he comes back to find all exchanges flagged for his review from the point he had last engaged, making it simple to pick up the threads without missing out on discussions. Comments in a thread can be sorted by participant by simply clicking on his avatar on the right panel. All team members have access to internal analytics, which shows team engagement in granular detail. This lends to a collaborative and transparent process at the buyer's end. If the seller has requested feedback through a discovery form, the buyer can choose to provide feedback by clicking the discovery form icon. They can fill in the relevant questionnaire and send the response to the seller from within the platform. PitchLink removes the need to use mails or other communication channels and struggle by juggling multiple conversation threads in multiple applications. PitchLink empowers the buyer to lead the discussion the way they want and take the discussion to a logical conclusion, because at the end, only the buyer can close a sale.